September 11th, welcome to City Community Development and Recreation. Everybody have agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. First on the agenda is an update from the Recreation Director, Ms. Clear.
Hi, sorry about that. I was having a little sidebar, wasn't paying any attention. I apologize. I really don't have, I did prepare a written report, which unfortunately I got to Donna very late, like this afternoon, so I'm not sure if it was distributed to the masses yet. But as you all know, the main thing that I would have reported on is Car Show, which was this past Monday the 4th. By all accounts, considering all the factors we've had to deal with, it went extremely well. The organizers are happy to help us with next year's event. We had 143 registered vehicles, several sponsors, even given the tight timeline. We did have several sponsors. We had several door prize donations. Thank you to Ms. Bruner for hitting the pavement and making that happen. So yes, that they're excited to organize with us next year, and so that's the main thing that I had on my plate since the last meeting.
Ms. Clear, the thank yous and welcomes, will it be formal or written?
I usually do thank you letters, and I am trying to figure out who should sign them. I think, but I normally do thank you letters for an event like this. So anybody who donated, I mean, they did get a receipt, when I got their funding in, but to do like a thank you for supporting our event, it was a big success. We couldn't, I usually do send thank yous out after the fact for an event like this.
Ms. Clear. Oh, there's no microphone.
It should be.
Oh, it seems like it's the perfect place for the cars. You just go up one side and down the next. It's nice and cozy. It's not too wide. That was really nice about that. And then the music was close, and then I don't know what that was. The food trucks were embedded also, so it was like the perfect location.
So yes, I'm glad you brought up the food trucks, because he's already got a couple lined up for next year. So like a lemonade stand food truck. And so one of the things that we did talk about, we had our debriefing meeting on Friday, and we're going to make a couple changes to the layout next year, kind of maybe spread the drinks up and down the street instead of having them all in one spot was one thing. And we're going to make some changes to registration as well. So there's some things that we made note of. And next year will be bigger and better.
Do you have a, Ms. Clear?
I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Clear, do you plan on adding a golf cart to that situation?
I would have loved a golf cart. I think I put like 20,000 steps. But yeah, the event is 0.4 and some change miles in one direction. So if you went up and down that street more than once, you walked a mile. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for your work. It was a good day. A good day.
I don't have anything else unless anybody else has questions for me.
Well, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question. Just
Ms.
something
Blight.
across. How's the splash pad going? I guess we got a little downtime now because it's fall, but.
Well, not really, because I'm right away starting on a festival. But yes, no, we actually had a meeting today with JMA about the splash pad. So it's moving along. Yeah, that's a good idea. Fall Festival will be on Saturday, October 21st. There is information in my report There are booth fees for that event. So food vendors are $50, craft, anybody selling anything is $20. And then if you're a nonprofit organization or a civic community organization just doing outreach, those booths are free. And I have had several food trucks already signed up for that as well. So
Okay. And we need plenty of volunteers, right?
yes, we do. I had planned on starting to go around to the people who supported us last year and make an appeal again for this year, and we'll go from there.
What were the hours again for Fall Fest?
It is from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And this year's event will include trunk or treat, rather than having that as a separate event.
And the mayor wanted to include the touch a truck.
Yes,
So
yeah, we
touch a
did
truck.
that last year as well. I figured we would do that again this year. Yeah.
Okay, that concludes your report.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Clear. Let's see. Next on the agenda is Household Hazardous Waste Event. Well, the Household Hazardous Waste Event was scheduled for, it was scheduled for September 16th along with the Fall Cleanup Day. But after a Zoom meeting on September the 6th, we've come to the conclusion that for safety reasons and for other unforeseen situations, we're going to have to cancel that to another day. Hopefully, we're going to try to schedule that for in November, sometime in November. So,
Madam Chair, which
What's up,
event
ma'am?
was canceled?
the household hazard is waste event.
Will the cleanup day still?
The cleanup date will still go on for September 16th. Oh, yeah. I'm losing my little thing right there. Yeah, the cleanup date is still going on for September 16th, but we're going to have to cancel the household hazardous waste. We're going to try to schedule it for November. We haven't picked a date yet, and I guess we're going to get together and try to come up with a date on that one. Should I bring up the registration? We're going to try to, if we do come up with a date with that, we're going to try to pre-register ahead of time. So I guess we're going to have to get out a link or flyers for people to sign up, try to make it as easy as possible for us on that day. And we are looking for volunteers. Did they, Ms. Iki, did they need training also?
There are some videos, some safety videos they would have to watch, yeah.
Okay.
And then cleanup day will remain like 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
1 to 5 p.m.?
It's the cleanup event is from 9 a.m. until noon,
9 a.m. to,
and that'll be here like always. And I will get that out on Facebook.
We might not be ready to light the tree this year. It might not be big enough yet, huh? We might still have to stay at Perkins. That's about our tree.
Oh,
It's got to
Yeah,
probably double in size, maybe.
triple.
has it gotten bigger? Has it- Well, that's okay. Charlie Brown's tree wasn't so big either. But it was
Yeah, that's true.
Fall cleanup day, I don't think we changed anything from the items. We're, as far as the items, when we put out the list, we're not going huge, we're not going with the tires, and we're still not going with the kerosenes and,
None of the
because I got a list somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were not going to do any of the liquids. So the paint thinners, really anything that was flammable. I think we were not doing paints, thinners, solvents. I'd have to pull out that list real quick and see what we didn't feel like we were going to be able to do safely. And then having attended the training, I feel very strongly in that conviction that we, for our first time event, that is not something we want to tackle. I think we will refine that list again. The tire collection, however, is not done through this county program. We have a different source for that, although we are still going through the alleyways and collecting them as we see them. So if you see any, let us know. We can have Public Works pick them up, but we do have a disposal method for those separately from the county opportunity that we have.
So that is ongoing? It's not like a special day for tires? It's
Not right. No. The Public Works has been instructed as you see them in the alleys, as you guys are out, like, picking up the litter or trimming the bushes back to grab them. We don't have it set up right now for residents to drop them off. Although if you happen to see them or you know where there are several we could pick up, we can get out and do that.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is this, I sent the email out to everyone that I just received that We Thrive grant. Well, I got an email back from Ms. Iki stating that I already received that last week.
We got the same information that you got. Yes.
Okay, my thing is, I fished for this information. And I don't receive any emails like stating, where did it come from? It just came from the,
I'd have to look.
I'm just curious on how these emails have been receiving.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Yes.
So
Ms. Orr.
I'm sorry, as a point of clarification, so Ms. Iki, you're saying that the administration already received this information, or we already applied for grants, or what?
We received the information.
Okay.
We have not made an application as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
That's, We Thrive Zoom meeting is tomorrow, isn't it? It's tomorrow, okay. And I got this email just fishing through We Thrive. And another thing I want to touch on is the rules and responsibilities of city community recreation and development and recreation. How do I get these emails? Who do I go through? Because I'm looking, I got a list of these, where they at? And, oh, give me a second. Okay, here we go, here. I was going to discuss it with my committee, like next week in new business, because I went over all these rules and responsibilities here, and it's saying a lot of things like what I should be involved in, and how necessarily can I get involved in this kind of stuff if I'm not receiving anything, or who do I contact to get in touch with a lot of this stuff on here. You know, it's what I need to know. What I'm saying.
Well, I am not sure what you're looking at.
Oh,
With-
which one?
She's looking
Grab a hold.
at, she's looking at council rules.
I'm looking at the council rules and responsibilities.
Okay.
Oh,
I do
here.
not have a copy of that in
Which
front of me.
Wow. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I got this out the book, out the binder. Let me see, page, we got, let me see. 15.
Ms. Brunner,
It's her
is,
own little- She
Ms.
got her
Brunner
own-
specifically, do
Page
you
50.
have a responsibility that you need assistance?
Emails from or assistance,
you-
yeah,
Maybe if you're more specific, we can
right.
nail this down.
Hold on, I'm doing something.
16, pretty well.
16,
I always keep
15.
a copy of this in council in case anybody wants to look at it. Old-fashioned paper. That's me.
I need that, Ms. Blight.
Paper, so I keep both of them, the charter
Mhm.
and the rules, just in case somebody needs them.
Okay, the ICRC groups, the meeting dates.
So
Oh,
I'm-
it's not, oh.
I'm the liaison for
You- you
ICRC.
the liaison?
And I
Okay.
go
I'm
to
just
those
getting some
meetings.
understandings on some things, that's all.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Because I'm
I'm always confused every day. I'm always asking questions.
okay, it say organize at least one meeting per year with city officials, describe their most recent problems and activities, and field questions, suggestions, and complaints from residents and businesses within the city. It's just several things. I guess I just have to sit down one-on-one, and when I get to them, just kind of ask how to deal with them.
And just to let you know, I don't know how I did it, but Outlook allowed me to pin the charter and council rules to the email document. I don't remember how I did that, but I did. So they're like at the top, pinned top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other ones that you have a question about that we can help you with?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna narrow it down with the whole group, and I was just gonna go one by one.
Okay.
And we all just read one and discuss one. That's what I was gonna do.
Sure.
But,
So by the way,
do you
I'm-
have a
I'm-
copy?
I do not, but I'm
Do
putting
not.
these in new business, just so you know.
Okay, okay, okay,
Is that all right?
that's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, that's good. I was just gonna kind of discuss it with the group. That's what I was gonna do, just go from one and go all the way down. and just to see how to get some stuff done on this rules and responsibility charter. Okay. I'll get you, you need a copy, don't you?
I have a copy on here. I'm
You got
just,
one on
I
there?
can't see it
Okay.
while I'm doing the minutes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-mm. You trying to pull it up? Okay, Ms. Iki, you said something about you guys discussed the, something about the playgrounds or something about the grant?
When we got the information about the grant, our first thought was to look at some of the playground equipment that is in badly need of repair,
Oh,
which is
okay.
an eligible use. We had a quick conversation internally, and if, to us, that seemed like a reasonable project we could get done, because the $35,000, which is the cap for this grant, would probably be impactful for one of our smaller parks in terms
Okay.
of trying to just do a piece of a larger project. So that was our thinking
Okay.
internally. And I would say from a matter of applying for grants, that is something that city staff would do. That would not be the responsibility of your committee. If you have input or you have other ideas, or you say,
See,
I
that's
like a
just-
slide and not a swing, I mean, we can have those conversations.
Right.
But in terms of the actual work for the application, that is something that we would take care of.
Okay, see, those are gray areas I don't want to go
Okay.
into. You know,
Well,
I'm
let's
trying
ta-
not to.
Yeah.
And another thing I talked to her, you probably noticed already, that the grant doesn't specifically have to go to one particular project. It can go to multiple things in the city to get done.
It falls up under that umbrella.
That umbrella, okay.
Right, but we have about 3 weeks to get this in. It's due October 2nd. So, I mean,
October
we need
2nd.
to move on this quickly if we're going to take advantage of this.
Okay.
So,
So there is nothing that you need from council. Administration's got this all wrapped up. Is that what I'm
I
hearing?
mean, if we can move forward with playground equipment for a park that we have on a list that needs some updating, to me, that's the low-hanging fruit, where, you know, we would write something very eloquent and plead our case and hope that we get the money, unless somebody has another idea, but we would need to know pretty quickly.
Wow. Okay.
Do you care to repeat that date again? October 8th?
Second.
October 2nd, thank you.
I think it's a Monday.
If I may, the structure and format of this application and this grant and how it'll be distributed is exactly the same as the other 3 grants that I've gotten this year from We Thrive and Hamilton County Public Health. It's the same format. So we already have existing application templates, if you will. It's just a matter of,
Okay.
you know, for these types of grants, we don't have to do things as intense as give them our entire budget and how much is this and that and the other thing. We don't have to do that like some of the third-party grants that don't know us at all. This is, we are already a target community. So if it's a competitive grant, we might get it, we might get not. Some of the grants, like the one that I got for the bicycle project, the bike racks, they had funding available, and basically anybody who applied got that exact same amount of money. So it just really depends on how this one is structured. But we've applied for grants from this entity and received them on multiple occasions. So
Okay.
I think I'm not worried about, the timing is tight, but as far as, is this going to be an 11-page proposal? No, it's not. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to clarify.
But we can still move forward even if council doesn't have anything for you.
Correct.
Okay.
And Madam Mayor, those grants that you asked me about, I did look into them. I dove into them and I checked and I looked. Most of those grants, the grants money were going into businesses that service the public. more. That's what I got from it. It wasn't specifically like grants for us to use, like, they use those grants to put into testings for COVID,
Okay.
and things like that, like
Okay.
a bigger
All right.
aspect of
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. Okay. So, committee, y'all ready for the first one?
You think it was something on there we could use for the senior center?
Senior Center? I didn't see anything for that. I double check.
Okay.
I dive into it, and I'll make sure if
Thank
it
you.
is something there, I'll find it. Okay, y'all ready? You ready, Ms. Black? Okay, you got the first one, you on page, oh,
You need
let me
your-
finish this agenda. Let me go back to the agenda. You want me to
She
do
need
that?
that. Thank you.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any old business? Anybody have any new business? Okay. I have new business. That we discuss the city community development and recreation rules and responsibilities. Okay. Responsibility first on the list is administration. Serve as a liaison between council and the administration and the Recreation Commission as it pertains to recreation. Is that pretty much saying that I can work with Annalise on a recreation level, or, okay? Mhm. Okay. Okay, number 2, recreational services. Set up service networks, community groups, community events, and 7, develop an overall sense of community.
Can you repeat that?
Set up service networks, community groups, community events, and 7, develop an overall sense of community. And 7, I don't,
There's no 7 there, it might be a
I don't-
smudge.
mhm. Oh,
It might be a smudge. There.
oh, they took 7 out at the bottom?
Yeah, it might be a smudge.
Okay. Mhm.
Madam Chair, typically, the Recreation Commission, like, point of order, the Recreation Commission would come up with ideas, events,
Mhm.
relay those to the Recreation Director.
Okay,
And
so,
then she would put her input and then tell
Mhm.
them, this is what you have. And I know in the past, they had a budget and they had a whole bunch of stuff that was left over.
mhm.
So the ideas were generally supposed to come from the commission to the Recreation Director,
Okay,
who would oversee their ideas. The council member generally just sat as a, depending on the person, you know, how active you want to be
Depends on
involved.
how more
Mhm.
involved I want to kind of get
But
into
she should
it.
come to you as the chair and say, hey, this is what they have planned.
Okay,
And if you had any ideas from council, if council had something to say, well, hey, what about this or what not about this?
mhm. Okay. Okay, that's clear. I got a better, clear picture of that one. Okay,
But obviously, if you wanted to be more involved, you could go to their meetings and Miss,
She had to go.
she had to go. She could
Yeah,
tell
she
you
had
when
to
those
leave at
are, yeah.
7, yeah. Okay, I contact her. I'll contact her on the meetings. Okay. Okay, number 2 is serve as a liaison between city government and such special interest groups as the North College Hill North College Hill Board of Education, the North College Hill Community Seniors Incorporated, the North College Hill Business Association, the ICRC, and other similar groups.
So I think what happened, some of those duties are for recreation. What you just read, in my opinion, is for the planning, for the community development. They combined.
Oh, okay.
It used to just be a recreation chair. It wasn't this name. Ms. Orby, you remember what the name of the other one was? They changed the name and added it to
I almost
recreation.
feel like it was called community relations or something. wasn't it? I
So
don't
it was
remember.
2 different committees.
Yeah.
So what happened
Yeah,
is
I
they,
think there's a hodgepodge in there, and I think
is.
some, so I think we need to amend that, is where I'm going with this.
because some of that,
Is-
a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with recreation. So they combined 2 committees but did not make it clear what part stays on a city community development and what part is for the planning. I mean, for recreation.
Okay.
So I can't recall if it was because they were jamming 3 meetings into one night. So, yeah.
Wald mentioned there used to be 7 committees, and she's actually here with
So
printing,
it got combined.
and they didn't
Okay.
fill out the task.
And some of those probably could be weeded out, because as I was reading it, I'm like, that's something you wouldn't even have to, or should, I can't say should, but shouldn't have to deal with.
Okay.
It could just be an informational piece.
It says develop
Because-
land plans, that sounds almost like CIC.
CIC, see, because I was here and I was doing something, and somebody said, well, you want to be on CIC then? I'm like, I don't want to take somebody's job, work, nothing.
You wouldn't,
know what I mean? Not take it, but
According to that description, you're doing like 5 liaison jobs.
right, and some of them are
Can't-
taken by other folks.
You would be inundated. You'd
I
be,
know, and I take my job
Super crazy
serious,
busy.
is what I do.
Needs to be updated.
And
yeah, that's,
I think 2 or 3 of them that you read, someone else already does.
mhm.
Okay, so this is progress, we can, okay, thank you for that. So we're going to try to amend number 2, so I'll put that over there. Okay, number 3, organize at least 1 meeting per year at which city officials describe their most recent programs and activities and field questions, suggestions, and complaints from residents and other business within the city.
That's just a debriefing of every activity that went on. That's what it sounds like to me. Have one, yeah, right. You do
Okay.
it, what, 12 times a year
All
instead
right,
of
all right.
once?
Okay. Page 16, you on page 16, Ms. Blight?
Yeah, and the next one says planning and development, section 3 or.
No. It says work with the administration in developing land use plans,
Yeah, planning and development.
reviewing building department fees and permits and developing businesses in the city.
That's CIC, the Planning
like the
Commission.
CIC?
And
Okay.
the business association.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, that's, okay. Okay. All right, number 2, receive and review recommendations of the Planning Commission for possible passage and ordinance or resolution, same thing.
So when something comes up, CIC, Planning Commission, and if it needs to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then once they pass it, or whatever the decision is, Mr. Knight, most likely, generally him, will say, we need a piece of legislation. Then he'll kick it to her, the city administrator or the law director.
So that's like administration and Bill Knight, kind of,
Once they have a decision, not all the time will you need legislation. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't.
Okay,
If they kick it out, you won't need it.
okay. Provide input to the planning commission for the continual updating of a 10-year plan for the city.
That's old. 20-year.
Okay. For periodically review with input from citizens and the city administration the conditions of waste sewage in the city to determine means of preventive maintenance and on renovations. Sewage? Public Works. Okay. Okay. Okay, number 5. Field suggestions and questions relating to garbage collections, rubbish, and other non-garbage removal, pest control, and other present or past related services, and take appropriate actions on such suggestions and questions.
That could be like in rules and
Wow.
public policy if there's an issue.
Is it policy?
No, I mean,
I'm sorry, I
how
didn't.
many chicken do you have? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I think that's more administrative.
Okay.
I don't know why that's in there. Maybe because you get a report when she gives a report.
Okay. Yeah. That you got.
Almost sounds like the Rumpke liaison, which would be administration also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
because administration negotiates those contracts. So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
only time you probably were looking at that when it's just like it is if a citizen comes in and says,
Mm-hmm. They have a
"My neighbor has 5."
a concern or. Mhm. Okay, number 6, serve as a liaison group between concerned citizens and city administration and the utility and cable companies that serve the city and sanitation contracts and issues.
We have to rewrite that whole
That
thing.
yeah,
I don't know.
that
What
has
is-
to be
Yeah,
from.
y'all just have to
Yeah,
imagine.
this is,
2020.
Y'all
But
just
what
have to
happened
imagine.
is they probably, when they did it, they probably didn't take out what was in 1980 or
yeah,
1990.
we did,
They
Okay.
just touched on certain things.
Okay.
and let me just say this, Donna, you are the first one that took that seriously enough to read it, because I can tell you that for the last 3 years, no one has brought this to our attention. Right? Am I?
I have to.
Whew. Yeah, it is, but it's scary also.
Well, you know, you got to imagine my face when I read it.
You thought, what did
I
we
was
get
like,
you
What
into?
did I do?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Is that? Oh, it's more. Mm-hmm. Okay. Set up lines of communications. Analyze and study results from such exchange and communications between North College Hill government and those of other municipalities or townships which share many of our city's qualities, problems, and or characteristics. But I could say one thing about this one, though. I did read some of how North College Hill was doing their development, and I was getting a lot of ideas from them that they were really remodeling and got a big plan down there. So I did go to North College Hill administration and looked up a few things that they were doing down there.
The one
I really
gentleman,
like this one, though.
the one gentleman who was down there, he came to CIC one time.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he's on Cincinnati's council now.
Okay.
But yeah, he came here and spoke and gave us a layout on how
Right.
they.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was going down one day down Hamilton Avenue, and they had a big event down there and a big renovation thing going on in the business district, and it was really nice. So I kind of like this one. I can keep this one. Okay. That's the next one. Suggest plans involving inter-community corporations for the purpose of providing improved services to citizens, greater efficiencies, and other cost savings. Suggest plans involving inter-community corporation for the purpose of providing improving services to citizens. Okay. That's our community. Input and suggestions for improvement.
I think everybody does that, but
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Suggest method of operations not presently utilized by the city, which have been proven to be successful by other communities. Okay. That's sort of like the one I was talking about with the College Hill one. Okay. Okay, suggest innovative plans that may result from meetings held among other members of this committee, along or from sections with officials from 6 other communities. That's pretty broad.
that's
6 other communities,
clearly
that's
a-
pretty broad, yeah.
that's clearly a council.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Blight.
I still haven't forgot that Mayor Nichols wants to update our logo. That made me think of our logo.
Oh, the logo?
Oh, yeah, we're working on it.
No.
Good. Every now and then I
Oh.
think about it, so. Yeah. Image of the city.
Yep,
Okay.
right now it's a gun.
Develop and promote a positive image for the city. Follow up on complaints issues presented at council meetings. Okay. Perform other duties as assigned by the president of council. Okay. I got a real good clarity today on this paper. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I have another question. When I write my agenda, I send it to all the city members, city council members. Just because I'm not sitting on financial meetings, does that mean I don't deserve to see what's on that agenda? Or do I just have to go look myself, or
Which agenda?
like financial or the budget or safety?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to who's on the list. But somebody else could probably answer whether she sends it to all council or not.
No, I was asking, was it, well, apparently it's not any a rule about that, apparently. So they can just send it to the members of their committee, and that's it. It's not sent to all the members of the council? That's just a question I'm trying to
Madam
make.
Chair,
Yes, Ms. Blight.
I think you could ask the chairs of each the committee if they could include you on the notes, even though you're not a part of the committee. I don't see anything wrong with that, because you might read the notes and have some good input for them. So all the ideas we can get would be good.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to know what's on the agenda for everybody, because everybody here might have some good ideas for another committee.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Orb?
can I suggest maybe at the next council meeting, you bring this up as, well, when we're all here, and just ask the other chair people
To include your,
yeah.
for the
I don't think
committee
anyone's going to
purpose.
have a
Mhm.
problem with that.
Okay.
I can't foresee anyone having an issue.
Okay, okay, that works. That works. I'm learning. All right. Let's do old business, new business. Anybody have any more questions? Ms. Blight, Ms. Orb? I'm good. Well, that'll conclude the City Community Development and Recreation Committee at 7:19, September 11th.
7:32, and we are opening our Budget and Finance Committee meeting. And the first on our agenda is the West Galbraith Road Agreement. I sent out a lot of documents today. I know that I sent them out late, but, well, later in the day. So you should have that in your emails. Oh, before we do that, did anybody have a chance to look over the minutes? No? Well, I'll let you look over them between now and next week, so maybe we'll approve the minutes 1 week lag, since I send the stuff out later.
So actually, I did get to look over the minutes. However, I was totally distracted, so I can't promise what I read.
Oh, fair enough.
And did you type them up?
No, Mary Jo.
Okay.
Did I get them? Do you
There-
still have my wrong email on the minutes probably?
I did not send them, I just typed them.
Maybe, let me look and I'll check real quick.
Did you get any of the documents?
We can actually
'Cause they're
go
all
into
in that.
discussion, about the West Galbraith Road Agreement, and then I'll send it, make sure I send it to you. And I'm so sorry.
I think it's the org that's missing out of the
Okay. I'm gonna let Ms. Eki take that.
Okay. Madam Chair, the West Galbraith Road project, as you know, is slated to start next year. The bulk of that project is being funded through the SORTA grant that we got of almost $1 million. However, we also got another grant, which is this MRF grant, the Municipal Road Fund grant from Hamilton County, that will pay for our design and engineering services, the bulk of that. So the county has finally sent the agreement, which that and the legislation should be in front of you. We do need to get this passed. This grant's a little different for us. So unlike a lot of our other roadwork projects with OPWC, those are all reimbursable grants. This grant, we get the money up front. So as soon as we pass it, we can invoice Hamilton County for the $115,000 grant. So if everyone is okay with the legislation, which was prepared by Mr. Dieters, but of course the county set a template, the county sent the agreement. They've already signed it on their behalf. It was just a scan signature. So the only thing left to do is for us to pass it and sign it, and then we can invoice and get our money. So if you would like to pass it as an emergency at Monday's council meeting, I can get the legislation updated so that it would reflect appropriately. Then we could send it down to the county on Tuesday.
Ms. Eki, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It just says West Galbraith Road. Can you be more specific in what sections get covered
Corp
by this?
line to Hamilton Avenue.
Thank you.
I'm okay with putting it on the agenda for council. I can send that, Mike already had talked to me about it as well.
Okay.
So I can send that to Christian. I'll do that. Or you can.
Arias.
Well, I'll need to
Arias.
update the legislation to add that emergency paragraph before we send it to Mr. Hedger. So
Okay,
I
well,
can
then
do
I'll
that, or I
let
can have
you do
Mr.
it.
Dieters do
Okay.
it. I mean,
Fair enough. Okay, those is sent to you. And then the county tax update, and that piece of paper, that kind of guide of what's going on with it is also in your information. And I will let Ms. Eki take that one as well.
do you want to take it?
Do you all have your copies in front of you?
They got the confirmation letter.
Oh, this? They got the whole package.
Which thing are we?
The confirmation letter,
This?
yes.
What do you want a copy of? Oh,
No, we
Yep.
just had the letter.
It's the letter. So, well, let me just jump in. That is the confirmation that the county has received our tax budget
Do you want all
and
these
has
then?
accepted,
That's everything.
with the parameters they outlined in that letter. There was a small deduction for something that's ongoing. I think it was the Duke Energy litigation. So the good news is we will be included in the county's tax budget. After they have their necessary public hearings, we will hear back from the auditor. We will have to pass one more piece of legislation at that point, accepting the rates that they have set for us. But it should mirror what they've approved.
In the rates that they have set for us, what is that contingent upon? Do you know?
Well, say that again.
The rates, the new rates that we will have?
The levy rates are the same.
Okay.
So when we sent at the meeting where we passed the county tax budget, we had all those spreadsheets. They took that, they did their analysis. They came back and said, yeah, you guys are pretty close. We're going to tweak this. We're going to tweak this. I think they deducted $1,000 from the senior levy. We had said 55. They said 53. So they made some minor adjustments like that. But it was pretty much what we expected because they reduced it by that. They said it was 97% of what we asked for.
Okay. Any questions there?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was taking minutes and I think I got lost in the conversation. So please forgive me. Were we talking about the county tax update or were we talking about the police and fire?
We were
County
talking about
tax.
the county tax update.
Okay, so we're going to get more money or less money? What did I?
From what we applied for, from what we sent in our request, it's 3% less because of what they outlined in that letter,
Okay, thank you.
which you all have a copy of.
So I personally feel like this is a good fit to talk about this here underneath that kind of umbrella of taxes, but push back on me if it's not, just because I'm not real sure how it all works together. So I know with our property tax, they're going to go up. So that's going to be an increase to our budget, right? Some of that goes to the county, right? And then some of it comes to us. Is that correct?
Yes,
So that actually would offset that 3% deficit hugely.
it might. And I think part of the county's rationale is even though this is the reassessment year, you don't appeal it until next year. So 2024. So if we had a number of property owners that appealed their properties taxes to get them lowered, that could also affect what we get.
So are the numbers that they're reassessing built in this here or no?
Yes.
The reassessment numbers?
From the county, I would assume they did that.
Okay, because I was told, well, I know this is what I'm referencing because I got my letter in the mail. It doesn't start until 2024, and this is 2024, correct?
Right.
Okay, so it's still 3% less?
Let me pull up that letter. Yeah, they talked about it in the letter in terms of why they reduce it. And there was something about a Duke Energy. I don't have a copy of it here. Due to pending petition for reassessment filed by Duke Energy, approximately 92% of the current duplicate for public utility was used. The estimates included in the estimates are the state reimbursement, Yeah, the estimates have been prepared using approximately 97% of the current duplicate for real property. So it's based on the current.
Okay.
So that
then
tells me the assessments, yes, because it's 6 months behind. So
Yes.
that wouldn't hit until
2020.
24 collected.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep, and that's probably not going to collect until June, right? Of
correct. 'Cause it's
2024.
6 months in arrears.
So everybody, just to clarify or to kind of spearhead the conversation underneath this umbrella, we should have by now all got an assessment of our property taxes going up for 2024. I'm just gonna complain about it because mine is so I actually called to see what that would look like in comparison to the tax amount of the value of the home going up. And it's probably about a $200 or $300 difference per month. There'll probably be some people who will argue that, but for me, it's just a latent consequence, but it helps us in the long run. Whereas we receive a 3% deficit here, we will get a huge return in June of 2024, and our city needs that. So, you know, I guess I'm complaining about it as a citizen.
Hard to balk about it.
But as a council member, I know that we are desperately in need of more allocated resources, because we can count that as income. That's a property tax income for us. So I'm not gonna complain about it too much. Although I don't want to give the city my money. So it is what it is, but it's for the greater good. Any questions on that? I feel like it'll level out, but I mean, 3% is small, but I guess I just wanted to kind of highlight that we're still on an uptrend, because we need to be. You know, that's our jobs as we sit in this committee, to make sure that we're keeping our city in good financial positioning. So we're just still on the uptrend there. Any questions before we move on to police and fire grant? Okay, so I know that you guys already got the spiel when you were in Erica's. By the way, Erica did say that she couldn't come tonight. She texted me to let me know, so she's absent. But I know that you already got the spiel on what the police and fire grants, how much, and Sharon already came and spoke to us about that. But I guess I kind of wanted to put it on the agenda in finance, because I am not real clear, based on what was said to us before versus the numbers that were given that night with Erica, and I assume that the numbers you gave me in the email were from that night, or maybe from him, but they seem a little different from what he had initially said. I thought that the grant was in the tune of like $500,000.
The payments are coming in over time.
Okay.
So this is just the first. These payments continue all through 2024 and maybe the first 2 quarters of 25.
Okay.
So we don't get them all at once, because they're reimbursable.
Okay.
And so we have to spend the money, and for the salaries, we have to spend the money, and then we submit the documentation to the state, and then it comes back.
Okay.
Same with a fire grant.
And another thing to just kind of check the box, that we are financially on an uptrend. You know, we won't necessarily always have that, but we can utilize these very healthy financial years to put ourselves in a very good space. So impound lot, same kind of stuff. I know we were projected to be about 24,000. That was where we were as of August. So we have September, October, November, December left, which is 4 more months. So our trajectory of what we will gain revenues this year will probably exceed where we projected, which is still a good thing. Kudos to the people that hard work to get that in, because so far it is working for us. I mean, it's not a huge bucket of money, but it is some resources.
More than we had before.
Yes. So I kind of just wanted to highlight that as well. I know he already did that. And then the beloved police levy. I know that, so I put this on the agenda tonight because there's been, it was kind of brought to my attention that in the previous levy, it was outlined in there that building and code were supposed to have 2 positions. I did ask Chief Sharan to come, and he didn't respond to my email. So we can still kind of talk about it in his absence and then kind of go to him with our findings. If you want to look at that sheet, Ms. Iki looked through it for me, I would say, because I didn't have time to look at it just on the timing that I received it. But she said that it's not actually spelled out in there in the last levy that we voted on. So I guess I'm asking Mayor and kind of us to have a conversation about what does that look like, since it kind of dropped off of the wording in that. There's some, I'm going to throw this out here because I don't know a better way to put it, but it feels to me like a little bit of integrity to not have allowed that to stay without bringing that to our attention, especially since it wasn't being honored before. but I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, so I'm open for correction if you
Madam
have
Chair.
a differing of an opinion.
Madam Chair.
You're too short. Short arm syndrome.
I think we would have to find the,
Previous documents. And I had
Levy.
said that before we came, that I was going to ask you to kind of retrieve, or if you direct me, maybe I can do it, but I'm super busy right now. I'm sorry.
there would have been the details of the first levy.
So even
we're
if
going
it's,
back, what, 5-6 years?
even if it's in the first levy, how does that translate to the that it's not in this one? Is it just lost because we approved it without it?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So it would be, in my thought process would be, it's necessary to renew an existing levy. So we are renewing that original levy.
That's true. So
That's-
the wording
that's the
should be
way
the
I
same.
It should.
Whether all of that's in here or not, in my opinion, we are renewing that original levy.
And that's
And
kind of
that's
what I
people
wanted.
voted on.
That's kind of why I wanted to bring it to our attention so that we could talk about how we are going to be actionable. So let's table this conversation because I don't want to say too much in a public forum and get people all bothered when it's not necessary. Ms. Iki, if you could please email the other one to me, the original one, and then the original police levy.
Do we know when it was passed? That would help
It
narrow down
has-
our search.
It says November 2018.
2018, okay.
5 years ago. But it went into January of 19. Should have been January of 19 when it, November, it passed on the election.
It would have become effective in 19.
19,
But the
yeah.
legislation would have been in 18.
Yeah, because we voted on the other one and then it became effective the following year.
You probably want to loop in the law director as well.
Okay. I definitely would like to do that, but I want to actually read it before we get, that's why I said, kind of let's table this conversation and just get our ducks in a row before we get anyone uncomfortable. And that brings us to, does anybody have any new business? Is everyone fine? Just go back to make sure that we get the legislation on council floor for this coming Monday's meeting. Everyone, okay. I do have some new business that I wanted to. It's new. It's old business, but it's new to this committee. But I just wanted to follow up with it because I don't know if there was a financial agreement to it, and if it wasn't, that's fine. Did we ever do
Madam
the?
Chair,
Yes.
did I miss us discussing the impound lot?
Yes, we talked about that. We're at the $24,000 mark in terms of earnings for the impound lot this year. And so our projection for this year was about that. Wasn't it about 24,000? It might have been exactly that.
I think the projection was 25,000 for the entire year. So to your point, we have 4 months of the year left and we've already hit the goal.
So we're literally in the third quarter. We've already met our goal for the first year. And I hate to say goal because it seems predatory to kind of put that out there that we're aiming to make this amount of money. It should be one of those things that has a correlated relationship of it just does what it does, because we're not actually looking to make money, but we don't want to lose money in the instances that we have to impound a person's car to another city. So I want to just say that on the floor as a public service, that we're not trying to make this income bearing, but it is a way for us to recoup lost funds when we do have to impound people's cars and not pay other cities costs, and then it in turn also costs our citizens or whomever's passing through our city. So I just don't want it to seem as though it's predatory, but it is, saving us and kind of helping to create some earnings in a space where we did not previously have an impound lot. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so anybody else new business before? Okay, so the new business that I had was the NCH logo. Did we get that done?
We're working on it.
Okay. Is that going to be a cost?
A cost?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So is that because I have to think about my words? I know Annalisa was working on that and she said no. I thought she said in our meeting, she did say this. She said in our meeting previously that some changes came with our website and they would be willing to help us with that and it would not cost us. Were we not able to access that portlet, or we needed to go outside of that and create something else?
So I think the website was updated shortly before I arrived here. And so I think the pages on the website were updated and there was a new font used, but you would not call that a new logo. So as part of a branding strategy, we went out, we got some references for professional graphic designers. We hired one and they are working on a couple of different options for us.
Okay. Fair enough. Do we have any other new business that anyone would like to address?
Do we have any ballpark how much this is going to cost us?
I'd have to look off the top of my head. I don't know.
What was that question? Any ball?
Ballpark figure on how much it would cost.
Oh,
for this
okay.
redesign of the logo.
Her last words kind of drifted off.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Old business. I'll move to old business. I have a couple things for old business. The first thing is, I know our agenda seems short. We have a lot of things that are still yet in the works that we need to talk about, but they just weren't ready just as of today. So in order to not open up public conversations before we're ready with groundwork and support, just leave them off the agenda for now. And then the other new business or old business item that I wanted to ask, and I'm asking this very gently, where are we in terms of the next report from administration?
We are still doing some cleanup work for this year. So I don't have a good estimate of that. It will not likely be by the next meeting in October.
Okay. So I'm asking that gently because in our last meeting, we did make a commitment to deliver or administration made a commitment to deliver for October. However, I just want to be transparent that that's not going to happen because for me, I've done what I'm supposed to do in terms of making sure that we kind of get to the point of getting it, but we've had some challenges that have created us not to be able to meet that goal. So, to be determined is all I can say. Any other questions?
I would like to say that we are working on that. And as we stated at the last meeting, we would like to be able to give you very good numbers that are accurate. And we are going to need a little more time to clean up some of the things that just need cleaned up. This kind of goes along with the appropriations ordinance that we talked about a couple of months ago, but you haven't seen it in front of you because, again, as part of the cleanup, I want to make sure that we're appropriating money appropriately. So there is still a lot of work being done in that vein so that we are doing it correctly and that we balance at the end of the day, and so that everybody has a greater comfort level with where we are currently and going into next year with that budget.
And
So
it's
if
much
you have,
appreciated that you are doing it this way rather than to rush to meet a deadline that is not going to be any good. Because like you say, the numbers won't be true.
well, and then you get all these documents out there and you're like, well, what about this one? I told you that was wrong, throw it away. Well, I don't want, you know, right? Like it clouds the issue. So we're working to get you something that is accurate and reliable, that you can say, okay, I feel good about these numbers. And that we can tell you we feel good about these numbers because we know that everything's in the right bucket, so to speak.
Mayor, you got something to say?
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
If all hearts and minds are clear, then we can adjourn.
That's a record.
It is a record for this one, this committee particularly. For, I did, I had the, logo stuff in the, yep, couple, two.
I had the logo in new business.
Me
Should
too.
it not have been?
I had
Okay.
the logo in new business.
And so we are officially adjourned at 7:58.
We're already adjourned, so
Oh, okay. All right, cool beans.